this week on the Bubble Chat.
But look, in her saying no, Rihanna would have never found her song. So all that, Ella, that was off of Britney. That was Britney's sound.
To touch on this because it's interesting that we're talking about, the intersectionality of like celebrity and personal life and stuff like that. And once again, we forget that, these people are human beings. We got to hold people in their humanity.
Some of this stuff is above my tax bracket, so I just don't have a comment on it. And the other side, the other side of me is like, well, before Instagram, Winona did it, and she's weird. like, you know what I'm saying? But that's privilege as well.
Because let's call it what it is. When someone walks up to a creator, a streamer, or someone in the entertainment industry and tries to force a kiss or any kind of physical contact without consent, that is straight up sexual assault.
Whatever it is, your hair, your lashes, how he might think you smell, how he might think you look, how you think you feel. Who was that woman? It's some hoes in the house. It's some hoes. What a hoochie, show the hoochie. What she had, Juwan? We already seen her. He gonna turn off the mic too, because she must be about to talk shit. What happened? Where that hoochie go?
She left.
You sleeping with the UPS lady? I think I've seen her before. Okay. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers, and welcome back to the Bubble Chat. The air is a little bit chilly, the night is a little bit darker, and something magical is in the air. This year, we're doing something we've never done before in Bubble Chat history. This is our very first themed Halloween episode. And it's just not any theme this year. We're talking about the most magical motherfucking spookiest place on earth, not to mention one of the most expensive, Disney.
She said I can hold her hand. I can hold her hand.
From haunted mansions to villainous queens, we're diving headfirst into the worlds where fairy tales meet Fright Night. We're talking about all things Disney Halloween, the movies that gave us goosebumps, the park events that turned main streets into pumpkin paradise, and the iconic characters who prove that even in the happiest places on earth, there's always room for a little mischief. There is something about Disney's take on Halloween that's just different. It's spooky without being too scary, nostalgic yet full of surprises. Whether it's the eerie glow of the Nightmare Before Christmas or the campy chaos of Hocus Pocus, Disney knows exactly how to mix the chills with the charm. And tonight, we're going to unpack why those moments stick with us long after the credits roll.
We'll also be sharing our favorite Disney villains, debating the most underrated Halloween-themed songs, and maybe even spilling some park secrets for those planning a trip to Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party. So grab your candy, dim the lights, and get cozy, because this one's going to be extra enchanted.
So get ready to step into a world where pumpkins sparkle, ghosts sing in harmony, and even the villains get their moments to shine. This is our Disney Halloween special, and trust me, you don't want to miss a motherfucking spooky, frightening-ass, spellbound minute, okay? Now, as Wendy Williams once said, it's time for hot topics.
How you doing?
How you doing?
So, first of all, we're all dressed in our Disney characters. So, I guess we'll start by asking what inspired you to dress up for this character. I'll start with you, Adonis. What inspired you to dress up as Jack Skellington?
Yes, Jack Skellington, look, he was bad, but he was a very, very kind and good motherfucker, and that's what I am. I am bad, but I'm very, very kind. I'm so, so good. So, there it is.
All right. Well, I can go ahead and go next. Well, as many of you cannot already tell, I'm Max Goof for Halloween. And what inspired me to dress up as Max is in a Goofy movie, which I enjoyed as a kid and probably still do. And what what I love about Max is that he and I have in common is that growing up, he isn't really much used to bonding with his father as a teenager, which is kind of like me. Don't tell him. And and something that me and Max have in common also is that we get a little shy and sometimes we like try to pretend and to be someone that we're not when which is kind of like how I was when I was in high school. So yeah, I am Max. Oh, and I was gonna wear this to put on my nose.
Put it on. Put it on.
I'll I'll try. I can't promise that it'll stay on, but we'll see.
I like it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just gonna let it. I'm just gonna take one for the team, and if it stays on, it stays on, and if it falls, I'm just gonna let that motherfucker fall off.
Now, you know what? Before we go into one of the ladies in their costume tonight, I want to give a good prop shout out to Walt motherfucking Disney because as long as Goofy been a dog, that nigga ain't never barked.
Is that true?
Hey.
Yes. That's true. Pluto and Goofy are both dogs.
Right.
We ain't never heard them bark, huh?
Bark, and Pluto ain't never really said a true word, but I'm confused because I'm thinking, was Goofy a herd dog? Because remember, Goofy was fucking the cow. He was fucking the cow bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know what? I never
Clarabelle, yeah.
realized it like that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I was just thinking like Jack Skeleton would. I was just,
Alrighty, how about you, Jasmine? What inspired you to be the alien superstar?
Mm.
Well, I'm one of the aliens from Toy Story, and they usually were seen in 3, but it's just one of me. I liked how faithful they were and loyal. They were loyal to the claw and anybody that chose them, and they were super optimistic in the movie. So I like that.
Alrighty, well, Nikki. Oh, perfect timing, Nikki. Even though you're not in a Disney costume, we'll just pretend that you are. What inspired you for this look?
Well, my look is inspired by
What are you talking about?
pro-blackness, black power, you know what I'm saying? Wakanda forever, Black Panthers. And so I represent beauty, I represent resilience, and I represent black intelligence. And so
I know that's
I'm
right.
wearing this tonight because I represent all black, all beauty, and all powers that we possess as beautiful black people. So Wakanda forever, Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
And
I love it.
We know she's not like in a Disney character, but we'll just pretend that she is a Disney character.
The shade, nephew. You ain't gonna let her live it down. You ain't gonna let her live it down, nephew.
Because it's not a character, it's a real person. Yeah.
You should have said you was Wakanda when they was going undercover.
Not about to be out here.
Would you just... All right, moving forward.
All right, Jasmine, start today's topic.
All right, let's dive in. Kevin Federline's upcoming memoir titled You Thought You Knew is set to drop October 21st, 2025. All makes sense now. From what we can gather, Federline says one of the main reasons he wrote the book is his 2 sons with Britney, Sean and Jaden Federline, and wanting them to know his version of events. Snippets that have leaked ahead of the full release, Federline details a number of startling claims, from alleging Britney's struggle with drinking and drug use, specifically cocaine, while pregnant and breastfeeding, to describing moments when his sons say they woke up to find her watching them sleep with a knife in her hand. Meanwhile, Britney took to social media to respond, accusing Federline of constant gaslighting, profiting from her pain, and painting a picture of deep anger and betrayal in his commentary. One interesting angle, while Britney's memoir, The Woman in Me, was published in 2023, Britney herself commented that she expects Federline's book to sell loads more than mine. She also addressed the complexity and pain of her relationship with her sons, saying she has always pleaded and screamed to have a life with my boys, and that their father's respect for her plays a role in the situation. So what do you think, Bubblers? When someone publishes a memoir accusing an ex-partner of serious misconduct, what responsibilities do they have, both legally and morally, toward the other person? And how would the audience evaluate conflicting narratives about shared family events?
What you think, nephew?
You know, I'm gonna say this. I was honestly too young to even know and understand what was going on with Brittany and Kevin back then. I didn't even know Brittany and Justin were even together to begin with. I didn't know a single thing about the relationship when it was actually happened. I was too young to even know they were married. And let's be real, at that age, I didn't even know what cocaine even meant. So, but from what I've seen of Brittany's kids then versus now, it really doesn't seem like she was under any kind of substance while she was breastfeeding. Her son seemed fine, grounded, healthy, normal, and that alone makes me think that Brittany was smart enough to know better than to take any drugs while she was nursing. I just don't really see it. Now, I will say this. During the whole time when she shaved her head and smashed the car with an umbrella, yeah, it is possible that she might have been using something. I don't know. None of us really do. But even if that was
Drug-induced
the case,
psychosis.
what was that, Nicole? Nikki?
Okay.
Drug-induced psychosis.
And postpartum. Let's talk about that. Look who her
Yeah.
partner was.
Yeah, her boys were toddlers back then, and from what I could tell, they were already at the bottle or sippy cup stage. So it's not like she was breastfeeding at that point anyway. Honestly, to me, it just feels like Kevin is bringing this up for attention or clout. Really, the divorce, in my opinion, happened because the relationship doesn't work out. That's life. But now, years later, he's retelling these stories that none of us can actually confirm. It feels like he's sharing us his truth and more like he's trying to stay relevant by dragging Britney's name back into the spotlight. But that's my 2 cents. How do you feel, Donnie?
Um, Now sitting there thinking about her saying that he was gaslighting her and trying to get over her pain, that made me think he probably the reason why she in conservatorship. She was around there getting, oops, I did it again. Guess what she was doing? She was blowing that money and she was, oops, I did it again. And he was right there with the bag and he was like, let me pump this baby up in you. Let me give you some more of this cocaine. And we're going to keep going and going and going. And then, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So all the drugs and splurging and things that took place. And, now she in a conservatorship, Wendy in a conservatorship. I'm sorry, did you guys hear Nicki Minaj is soon to be in a conservatorship?
Is that gonna what?
Britney? Wendy.
Wendy Williams.
Yes, Brittany and Wendy are in conservationships, but there's rumors now talking about Nikki's mental capacity, how she is unstable, and how she will probably end up in a conservatorship.
We're talking about Nicki Minaj. When did this come about? Because
Google it. Today they were talking about her being when her and Cardi B was going to be. Sorry, Brittany. Sorry, Kevin. This is a sideline story for all the bubblers. Okay, Louis is
for real.
The water is extra tonight. So listen, when Cardi B and Nicki was going back and forth, Cardi B called out and said, "Bitch, you was diagnosed bipolar, schizophrenic, some shit like that years ago.
Okay, I think I see it right here.
So they were talking about, so they're talking about that Nicki may be going into a conservatorship.
You know what? If they allow something like that to happen, that is almost like a scapegoat, because a lot of people will play crazy, or like they got themselves caught up into something and then they get to like play crazy or go to a facility to try to, calm down or go in hiding, because I'm just like, she didn't put a lot of claims out there and she's been talking a lot of mess, and now all of a sudden she might be going into conservatorship. I think that's more of that's for her protection.
A blogger had did some investigating, and so she was talking about the conservatorship, like how do you become certified or licensed to do that? And what they were saying is that more so on the East Coast, conservators are your fucking lawyer.
Bro, I had no idea that Nicki was possibly going to be in a conservatorship.
But the main point of having a conservatorship, Nicki Minaj is married. Wendy Williams was trying to leave her husband at the time, but she was still legally married, right?
Right.
Britney Spears was never married to anyone. Her mom and her daddy always had control of her money. So this is what you have to ask your question. If we're talking about conservatorship, if Wendy Williams had a son, a sister, and a half of a husband that would have been able to keep the books and manage her money, Nicki Minaj, he not dumb. I mean, he is categorized or labeled as a sexual predator, but I don't think there's anything wrong with his capacity to like run some finance and check a few checks and sign some signatures. Same thing for Britney Spears. Your mother and your daddy have been managing and pimping you your whole fucking time. So why did you need a conservatorship when you're supposed to have people that are looking after you, that love you, that are your family, that you're security net? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's starting to.
How did you get into a conservatorship with a husband, with a family? Yes, a husband, a family, or a support, period. But that's the possibility. It's not
confirmed.
Yes, not confirmed as of right now, but that's word on the card. That's word on the card. And Kevin Federline, I still think that you are part of the big reason why Britney went into conservatorship, because she was wilding out with your little raggedy ass. How about that, lady?
Jasmine, I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on this or no.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that this information is coming out and there's children involved. Like, she's a high-profile celebrity, considered an icon.
Mm-hmm.
For her business to be out like that, and her children are getting ready, to transition into adulthood, I believe, and look for spouses or whatever they're gonna do with their life, and then have families of their own and all these things. Why does this need to be in writing? Why can't they just have conversations within the family or in a therapeutic setting? I don't understand that part. And who the fuck does he have to defend himself against? The media?
He ain't nobody.
Nobody was checking for Kevin Federline and what he had to say about any of the knife swirling and the ass shaking that Britney Spears was just doing in front of her, her phone. Nobody cared about what he was doing except being a baby daddy. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you was holding space for the children that's involved, because people, are not thinking about the children and the effects that it's having on them, And I also like the fact that you have brought up in previously, postpartum, when we were talking about Britney Spears and them. It's just like, we need to hold space for women and all the different things that they carry and that they hold,
And let's not forget
at the same time, they're human beings, even though they might be celebrities. They're still human beings first, and so why we can't hold them in humanity?
Britney Spears was supposed to have a fairy tale marriage and family. She was an icon, and for her to fall from grace with a backup dancer is like so tragic. So disappointing.
Before Beyonce, there was Britney. Do you guys remember the Pepsi Britney commercial when it was pink? Britney and Beyonce?
Beyonce and
all
Britney,
the time.
Do you remember that?
Shit.
Do you remember
Britney
that?
got paid the most in that commercial.
As she should. She was the top bitch at the moment.
Let's talk about it. I didn't know. Listen, I didn't know.
Okay, look.
I didn't know white women wore extensions until Britney Spears.
Boom. Well, Madonna taught me that. I'm a little bit older than you. Madonna taught me that. Let me tell you this. If you want to talk about Britney, look, Rihanna would not have curated her song. Umbrella was written for Britney Spears, and she turned it down. Milkshake by Kelly's was written for Britney Spears, and she turned it down. Fucking Lady Gaga wrote Telephone for her and
Britney Spears, and then she turned it down.
Beyonce said, "Bitch, if I do the song, you gotta do a song with me," and that's how they did.
That's right.
But look, in her saying no, Rihanna wouldn't have never found her song. So all that Ella. That was off of Britney. That was Britney's sound. So now when I hear Rihanna's music, I'm like, oh yeah, Britney could have did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Britney could have. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want you to know. Speaking of Britney, Kelly's would have a hit. Rihanna wouldn't even be the bitch she is if it was not for Umbrella. And Lady Gaga, she wrote that song. She wrote that song for Britney, and Britney said no. And I'm sure your ass was laid up getting high on that cocaine and that cock with Kevin Federline.
Yeah.
See?
I just want to say this before we move on to the next topic. Nikki, the costume that you were wearing somehow reminds me of Raven Baxter from That's a Raven.
Aww.
I love That's So Raven.
That's a Raven.
It's the future I can see.
That's a Raven.
So mysterious to me.
Y'all in the same age group. Somebody was in a second, somebody was in a fifth grade.
Okay.
Yeah, Nikki, I wasn't sure if you heard that, but I was saying that your costume is giving me Raven Baxter vibes from That's a Raven.
Jasmine she says she's an alien superstar. That's Beyonce. That's a song of hers.
I did not say that, though. That's what somebody was insinuating. That's funny.
A lot don't care who tell it.
A lot don't care who tell it.
All right, next.
Nikki, it's you.
Nikki?
I'm trying to come off of mute. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
Uh-huh.
No worries. I was saying that the costume you're wearing, it reminds me of Raven Baxter from That's a Raven. You heard the show That's a Raven?
That's So Raven, where she be having the visions?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show.
You know you were too damn old to be watching that shit.
I mean, I ain't watching it now, but I watched it. I'm a mother. I have a 20-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Too damn old to be watching that shit, Nikki.
Yeah, I was watching it vicariously. I had to kind of watch it because the kids was watching it. But I be having visions like Raven, though. I be having visions, though. So I was That's So Raven before That's So Raven was That's So Raven. Okay, but anyway.
Come on now.
But check it out, y'all, bubblers. At the concert on October 17, 2025 in Nashville, during his High Alive tour, country star Keith Urban asked fans on stage, "What's your name?" The fan responded quietly, prompting Urban to reply, "What? I'm not going to like your name or something? Like what?" The fan then revealed her name, Nicole. Urban dramatically dropped to the floor in mock shock. The crowd laughed, and the moment went viral. This happened in the midst of Urban's very public split from Nicole Kidman after 19 years of marriage. Kidman filed for divorce on September 30th, 2025, citing irreconcilable differences because his ex-wife name is Nicole. The coincidence and the fan's name clearly struck a chord, right? I was bringing up some memories, I'm sure. And Urban used the moment to inject humor into what otherwise a very heavy personal chapter, obviously, right? So beyond the comic moment, the situation highlights the odd intersection of celebrity, personal life, and public performance. Urban continues to tour even as his personal life is under scrutiny. He had early canceled a show due to laryngitis. Ain't gonna be able to perform with laryngitis. Meanwhile, Kidman is navigating the fallout of the split and gearing up for her next season in the spotlight. Bubblers. When a public figure uses a seemingly spontaneous moment like a fan's interaction that echoes something from their personal life, especially ones as sensitive as a divorce, do you think it helps them handle the situation better by leaning into humor, or does it risk trivializing the deeper emotional reality? What do you think, bubblers? What do you think? Donnie, what do you think?
I think that laughter is healing.
Mm-hmm.
Laughter is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how difficult, random, or even traumatic the situation is, you can always be able to look back and be like a little kiki. You know? I remember I was in it was a fight or flight. We took flight, so we wasn't gonna get away. We was gonna end up going to jail. And I was in the clear. From my vantage view, I was good. My other friend's vantage view was not so good. Now, as intense and as tight as that moment was, she was whisper screaming. She was trying to be quiet, but emotions was real high. So she was talking like this. And I said, bitch, you scream, I said, you whisper scream, you silently screamed at me for about 30 minutes. And we died laughing. But in that moment, wasn't a motherfucking thing funny. I promise. Wasn't a motherfucking thing funny, baby. But after, about a week, you decompress, we don't talk to each other, and we got back up. I said, bitch, you you silently screamed at me for about 30 minutes, and we laughed for a good 10 minutes. But wasn't nothing motherfucking funny about it. Not at all. Not at all.
I wanted to touch on this because it's interesting that we're talking about, the intersectionality of like celebrity and personal life and stuff like that. And once again, we forget that, these people are human beings. We got to hold people in their humanity, and like divorce is a very touchy topic. And it's ironic that we're talking about it because I myself, is experiencing a divorce. And so I can totally relate to this topic is what I'm saying. And so moving right along, just it's always good to just hold space for humanity and see the humanity in folks, regardless.
But his old country punk ass, that was karma. That was karma. And he must like the name Nicole. He must like the name Nicole.
You know what the name Nicole means?
Mm-mm. That bitch over there.
The name Nicole means victory for the people. Victory for the people.
Well, he wanted to be the only victorious person in your life.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted to do.
He a little self-centered in that.
What do you think, superstar alien?
Oh, wow.
Alien superstar?
Yeah, so I believe that his response was, and I didn't see it, but just by reading it, was really unfair, given the fact that they've had a union. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe they have children together. Because I remember Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman being married and not conceiving children. They adopted kids. And then splitting, and they both had kids magically with somebody else. And I thought that was the weirdest shit. Yeah. I'm like, I know y'all was trying for kids because y'all. But
I believe that was the time in their careers where it was not going to be good for them to have children.
But they adopted kids, which is what I was not understanding.
But it was after. It was after, though. They
were. I don't know. It was just, I didn't understand it. I'm like, God. And then they separated and had kids. So anyway, I said that to say the behavior that Keith Urban is exhibiting as the person that would have been responded on a disillusion, right? Uh-huh. To me, it is unfair, right? Given the fact that they had 19 years of a union. So to me, it was distasteful. Like, how can I explain it? As somebody that's also experiencing divorce, I
still Can we get a round of applause for separation?
Yeah.
Can we get a round of applause for separation?
Let's talk about mental health.
Yeah, let's give an applause for separation.
It's safe. But I just
want mental health. Yes, thank you.
I just want to lean into the fact that although a union may go sour, there's still a level, for me, the type of character that I have, there's still a level of protection that I give it, especially when there has been children involved. Right. Like, it's not girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, it's still kind of giving girlfriend, boyfriend. Now we have actual seeds that we have have to cultivate. Like, we're growing these children, they see all these things. There's still a level of protection that, for me and my thought process, that I still have to extend to the other person, but everybody doesn't have that type of honor instilled in them as it relates to a legacy, as it relates to family and all the things and the coverings that they should give to it. So I said that to say his behavior, I don't see, although it may be a joke for him and it's extremely fresh. She filed, and then within 2 weeks, his behavior was that. Like, there has to be a level of protection for her, an extension for her. But like, I don't know, people be acting real. I'm not a licensed therapist or any of those things, but it be giving little narcissistic vibes. It be giving a little dramatic, you want to be the baddest bitch type vibes, and I just ugh.
All right, I'm about to get to my opinion. I'm gonna try my hardest not to make it sound like that I disagree with Jasmine, because I have a little bit of a different opinion.
Because I didn't see it.
But I actually honestly think that Keith handled the whole situation very well and really respectfully too, if I'm honest. I mean, imagine being on stage, interacting with fans, and then one of them says that their name is Nicole, the same name as their ex-wife, Nicole Kidman. That had him that had to catch him off guard, but instead of being rude or awkward, I think he played it off with a little bit of humor and class. Maybe there was a tiny bit of shade in there, but not honestly not enough to call it messy. It felt like a little more lighthearted human reaction to something unexpected. But let's be real, most famous entertainers, whether they're in music, movies, or television, when they go through a breakup or a divorce, they don't want to be reminded of that person at all. And that fan didn't even mention Nicole Kidman. She just had to happen to share the same name, and that's all that really mattered. Keith didn't make it weird, and he didn't make it about his divorce. He just handled it with grace and moved on, which I respect. It actually reminded me of a similar but not same situation of that time when Pete Davidson told a fan to leave one of his comedy shows, from what I know, because they were wearing an Ariana Grande t-shirt. Now, for those of you who may have not know, Pete and Ariana were together, and then they break up. She basically said, "Thank you, next." That's the only difference.
Before Kim was.
Mm-hmm.
Kim is a dirty, dirty hoe.
Now, I completely understand where people was coming from. I mean, the breakup was very public and probably still a sensitive topic. But at the same time, I feel like there could have been a different way to approach that moment without escalating it. Keith's reaction, on the other hand, showed that something humor and composure can go a long way in dealing with the uncomfortable reminders from the past. But yeah, that's
when she said Nikki, that was a dome shot to his crotch, and he just went down and folded real quick. That's all it was. Because he liked that name, Nikki. It's okay. It's all right. But let's talk about what's going on with Wendy Osefo. Now, this story is going to be a part of the bubble that keeps on blowing because it still exists. You know, sometimes you blow a bubble and it lives for a moment and then it's no there. But this one is still here, baby, and it has detergent concentrated soap in it. The reality TV star of Real Housewives of Potomac, RHOP, who was serving as a distinguished visiting professor at Wesleyan University, as you all know, and we talked about this last week because the bubble is still ahead, baby. Wendy and her husband, Eddie, Happy Eddie, Osefo, were arrested in Maryland with charges with 16 counts of related to alleged assurance and fraud crimes. According to authorities, the case stems from a 2024 April incident in which the couple reported a burglary in their home, claiming that hundreds of thousands of dollars in stolen luxury goods. However, investigators say evidence shows that some items have been returned to the stores and that one of the stolen rings was seen by Wendy wearing it on a red carpet event afterwards. Shortly after the arrest, Wesleyan University confirmed that Wendy was fired. She no longer needed her services were no longer needed, and she formally submitted a resignation prior to the university's public announcement of her departure. Given her roles as professor, reality star, educator, political commentator. This is a major shift in her public image and professional life. When somebody who holds an academic position and is a public figure facing serious legal allegations like such, how should we evaluate their professional responsibilities in their personal persona? Their public persona. And how much should the industry, whether it be reality TV or academia, hold them accountable before the verdict is reached? What do you both or what do you all three think? If I could go first really, really quickly, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. It's as simple as that. They said this in Why Did I Get Married? You're going to leave 80% to end up with 20 at the end of the day. Right? They say you think the grass is greener on the other side. However the situation be, whether you be a educational scholar, a multimillionaire entrepreneur, or even a reality star, what happens is when you play silly games, you win silly prizes. So as smart, as educated, accomplished in all of those things she still decided to do something kind of stupid, ridiculously dumb. And then stupid, ridiculously dumb bit you in that ass you bought not too many years ago. You understand what I'm saying? And now you ass out. And look, while you sitting here, now leave it up to me. Let me tell you what the conspiracy is. The conspiracy is y'all did that insurance fraud to recoup the money y'all did to start that cannabis line, Happy Eddie. I already know what it was because it wasn't her. What has confirmed their guilt, per se, allegedly, in a public persona is there is a email that came loose, and it wasn't an email, it was a text. It was a text from him to her, and I think she leaked the text and let the motherfuckers know, bitch, it was him and it wasn't me. So this what happened. He texted her and said, because they had like 3 insurance policies. That's why they're calling it fraud. It wasn't just one insurance policy. It was the house insurance, traveling insurance, and another type of insurance. He got money back on all that shit. And I think that money recouped him to get the money that he needed to either reinvest in what he did to get Happy Eddie, or to move to reinvest, or to get back what he spent in getting it. But he texted her and said, for this policy, you need to come up with about like $23,000 worth of products, right? That's just like when Donald Trump called Arizona and said, I need about 20,000 missing votes. It's like the same thing. You're not playing fair. So with that text, that clearly let them know that they were playing the insurance company outside of, there was no forced entry in the house. There was no ring or security tamper or alerts or anything like that. Also, outside of you wearing the same motherfucking ring on a red carpet, sis, that you said was gone, half the shit you reported, you had already taken back to the store. That's so sad.
You know what? To me, this really isn't surprising. When situations like this happen, it always comes to light one way or the other.
Nigerians.
In today's world, where news spreads instantly online, your job is going to find out, your boss is going to see it, your coworkers are going to talk about it. There is no hiding something this big, especially when it involves legal trouble. I honestly think Wendy planned to resign before things got worse. I don't think it was random or an emotional decision. I think it was strategic. She probably knew that once the fraud allegations hit the media, the university's administration would have to take action, and she didn't want to risk getting formally filed or dragged into a bigger conflict with them. So,
look, I'm sorry to cut you off. Then here's another update. Andy Cohen just fired her ass today.
From what show?
RHOP. She's no longer a housewife.
What?
He said the crime of which the degree of the crime that was committed, he was like, it tarnishes the whole motherfucking brand. So she just got fired.
What about the lady that was scamming from Salt Lake?
Jen Shaw. Okay, Jen Shaw.
Did she get fired?
Jen Shaw's still in jail, and he said he'll never work with her. She could never come back.
Okay, and then what about the people from like Jersey that?
So he did it. She was his accomplice, like just by marriage. It wasn't like she didn't know. Tell. Yeah, she knew something right. She could have told exactly. So he committed the crime, but she just had to do a bit of time. But they let her come back. But my thing is check this out. You win stupid games, you're gonna win silly prizes. There is no way you should have had a, what does they call it? A Ponzi? What's they call it? What's that scheme?
Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi scheme.
Is that when it's all fake and nothing was there in the beginning?
I think so. It's like
it's something else. But to do that, bitch, on TV with like a little shell company over it, like you're gonna you're gonna go to hell, and when you get there, you're gonna burn twice.
Yeah, okay, so
Right. Think about it.
In part, some of this stuff is above my tax bracket, so I just don't have a comment on it. And the other side, the other side of me is like, the other side of me is like, well, before Instagram, Winona did it, and she's kind of weird, like you know what I'm saying. But that's privilege as well. Or like before Instagram, Iron Man did it, and he still got a career. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about the stupid shit people do. And then
Little Dog was a gangbanger. Look where he has come to. Girl, that ain't it. That ain't it. Now here's the guy. Who you said committed a crime for them got famous?
Winona before Instagram.
I know you're not talking about that white girl from Beetlejuice.
Yes.
She was shoplifting after Edward Scissorhands.
Yes. She was taking purses. Winona.
We didn't know about white privilege then. I think that was her flexing pre-white privilege. Mm-hmm. Wendy?
She's going to say she was on drugs. Wendy going to say she was on drugs.
No, Wendy leaked that text.
She going to say she was on drugs.
No. Wendy let him know it was him. It wasn't me. Remember when Tina Turner was like, I ain't writing a lot of good songs. He got a lot of good music coming out. Remember that part? That's what she did when she said that. She letting the world know it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Nikki, what you think?
How you feel, Nikki?
I need to get some wine.
We're going to pull your application to call Braden.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you not to do
what's your other name? Empress Butterfly?
That's my name. I'm going to need you not to do that, okay? I can't stand you just because you think you know me from the 6th grade, nigga.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. What's your character tonight?
He's Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, Nikki.
He got me twisted, nephew.
Huh?
Okay, I actually had to step away for a second, y'all. And so I was not in the bubble chat for a hot second. So y'all gotta forgive me.
It's okay.
If I don't have no comment on the last topic that we was talking about. So I apologize. But you know, we keep it bubbling in the bubble chat no matter what, you know what I'm saying? And I know y'all was holding it together for sure. And our beautiful alien, she has been bringing a great perspective to the bubble chat tonight, and so I appreciate her.
You sound like a county jail lesbian. You're trying to make something happen and you missed the mark on. Says you sound like a county jail lesbian. You want some noodles?
Okay, with a county jail lesbian, she's still gonna get that punani. She's still gonna get it though.
Watch your back when you take a shower, Jasmine. Watch your back.
Watch your back. Jawan, you next.
Alrighty, well, this week at TwitchCon 2025 in San Diego. Wait, sorry, let me start over. This week, TwitchCon 2025 in San Diego took a shocking turn when popular streamer Amaru was reportedly assaulted during a fan meet and greet. According to TMZ, the incident occurred while Emiru was meeting a fan and taking photos. A male attendee suddenly grabbed her face and appeared to try to kiss her without consent, all caught on camera. Security quickly stepped in, but the clip has since gone viral, sparking outrage across the streaming community. Twitch issued a statement shortly after calling the behavior completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. However, Emery's later shared that the situation wasn't handled properly at the moment, claiming that the man who assaulted her was allowed to walk away instead of being immediately removed or detained. That part of her statement had triggered major backlash towards the platform and even security team, with many fans and creators saying it highlights ongoing safety issues at conventions. In response, Twitch released an updated statement confirming that the man involved has been banned from both the Twitch platform and all future in-person events. So, what do you guys think about this?
Well,
I got something to say.
Say it.
Okay, so Twitch is basically the platform where people get to watch people live stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically with gaming.
Okay, so therefore there's an audience of people that nobody knows who they are, and the person that's doing the streaming is basically like it's a level of vulnerability. People get to pick up on your characteristics, formulate ideas about the person and who they are, and
the random shit that happens.
And fantasize. So they're pulling it, right? Stretching things. And I just want to say, as a regular smegular Bay Area native, like just with me having an Instagram, it's creepy out here in these streets. And like I get it can be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll get a dick video. I didn't ask for it. Sir, I don't know who you are. So like with this type of behavior, I'm not surprised about the boldness of people when they see someone and they create this fantasy or facade about another person and just take it upon themselves. That is a leap. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because had it not been a crowd of people or a whole bunch of spectators, nobody would have seen it, but it may have been worse, is what I'm saying.
Right. So
there wouldn't have been any accountability for it.
That sounds like the insult of flattery. So am I correct when if I say he fanned out, he had a fan out moment? Is that what that was for the most part? He had a fan out moment?
Ask Juwan. I don't know what that looks like.
No, because it's like a 3-part. Okay, so like you said, he overstepped, but then there is this level of familiarity that he felt with her because she streams all the time. Like you said, there's vulnerable, right?
We got a connection.
Right? Yeah, this connection, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna say it. I hope I'm not saying it lightly. That he fanned out. He fanned out, because you said they overstretched the fantasy. Didn't you say that phrase?
Yeah, like
okay, so. Whatever it is, your hair, your lashes, how he might think you smell, how he might think you look, how you think you feel. Who was that woman? It's some hoes in the house. It's some hoes. What a hoochie, show the hoochie. What she had, Juwan? We already seen her. He gonna turn off the mic too, because she must be about to talk shit. What happened? Where that hoochie go?
She left.
You sleeping with the UPS lady? I think I've seen her before. Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay. So back to he fanned out. Okay. He overstepped his boundaries. This is the last question. Is he gonna be charged with sexual harassment?
No, not at all.
No. Okay, that's all I mean, is whoever was the
I hope he's charged.
He's not gonna get charged with anything.
And I hope not either.
Listen, I was a 911 dispatcher. When I review penal codes, I don't remember sexual harassment ever being a penal code. So he ain't gonna charge with nothing.
There's no penal code for sexual harassment.
I'm not an expert at everything. I only know self.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I will say, I don't remember us ever going over, we're gonna put sexual harassment up here. It has to
there's
be
another penal code that
I do not remember that. Usually, it's called I'm not an expert. Usually, as it relates to emergencies, that may be something with an attorney and something that's not an emergency. But usually, as it relates to emergencies, no, I don't. Ain't nobody getting arrested for that. You gotta have a possibility.
So that's what I was wondering.
Possibility of a loss of life or limb is how I was trained.
So it has to be proven that it has to be proven down the line. So
well, my thing is no. So they say that it went viral. So he ran up on a girl and gave her a kiss, basically.
That ain't no. They saying that's sexual harassment.
That is sexual assault, not a harassment. Excuse me, assault. Is he going to be sexual assault? Now, if I put my hand in the back of Alien Superstar's back,
sexual assault can be
that is sexual assault.
Okay,
yeah.
Can I say something? So it seems as only it's assault is associated with being sexual harassment or sexual assault when it's coming from somebody that you don't like. Because say for instance, if it's coming from somebody that they liked or that they, it's just like, ooh, such and such touched me. They don't consider it. They don't call it assault or harassment. So
if that's it's unwanted. Hold on.
Right.
That's you know what? Y'all are so blessed. Y'all are so blessed.
All right. I'm just gonna say this. To cut in front of Lion and to interrupt a special fucking moment between a streamer and their fans and then try to do something that's uncomfortable and forcing an intimate moment without consent, that's beyond appropriate. Like the audacity of that person. It's not only crossing boundaries, it's violating someone's personal space and dignity in front of an entire crowd. And Emma Ruth released a statement saying she's thankfully okay. But what stood out to me was that she said that she was upset with how Twitch handled it in that moment. And honestly, I don't blame her. Letting the man walk away instead of immediately removing him from an event, that's unacceptable. Twitch and TwitchCon should have stepped in right away. No hesitation. That's the kind of situation where there shouldn't even be any discussion. Because let's call it what it is. When someone walks up to a creator, a streamer, or someone in the entertainment industry and tries to force a kiss or any kind of physical contact without consent, that is straight up sexual assault. You hear me? Straight up sexual assault. Point blank, period. There's no excuse for it. No misunderstanding, nothing. Zilch. And behavior like that can and will hold you accountable. Period.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very strong statement, the way in which you stated it. But I'm just thinking, like, these people that's in the entertainment industry or these people that's considered streamers or YouTubers, they're just people just like you or I. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like somebody having a crush or liking someone.
Yeah.
And they're expressing their likeness, by way of and trying to insert a kiss. I don't think that it should just be like highlighted because they're a streamer or they're a personality or something. Like there's
it was because of what you just said. It was streamed and they were already a personality. It was already a moment. Like that's a moment inside of a moment.
And so guess what? It should just be a win-win. Like, highlight the moment for something positive, like.
That's why.
Well, I disagree only because with saliva and all the things like when I was raised, I was told that spitting is some one of the nastiest things that you can do to somebody, spitting on them.
Wait, who spitting on somebody?
I'm talking about saliva.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it made me think about New York and Pumpkin.
I don't condone that.
Right. It made me think about New York and Pumpkin. And with kissing, that's a form of saliva being exchanged somewhere. We don't let everybody kiss our babies. So with that same thought, I am in agreement with the idea of it being some type of assault, because had it been like an open wound in their mouth or something of the sort, that is a problem. Anytime there's any area of the body that has what's the best word? What was the word I was going to say? Mucous membranes. Yeah, we got to be real careful about that because we don't know what's going on. So somebody can very well appear to be like they can appear to be like, oh, I'm happy and I'm kind, but their intentions can be sinister, right? Somebody may not even like women. They may hate women to the core because of something their mother did to them, and they want to do something to somebody else. We don't know everybody.
Ain't got the herp or the hepatitis.
We don't know.
With a kiss.
We don't know.
Oh.
So yeah, I think the response should have been elevated a little bit just to protect women.
Yeah. Put a chastity belt over his mouth. Now let's dive into something really special. Angel Reese, star forward for the Chicago Sky, made history at the 2025 Victoria's Secret fashion show. She wasn't just walking the runway. She became the first professional athlete ever selected as a Victoria's Secret angel. The show was more than just a fashion spectacle this year. It featured powerful moments of representation. A pregnant model, Jasmine Tukes, opened the runway, and the stage was shared with both seasoned supermodel and emerging faces, creating a meaningful mix of experience and fresh energy. From the sports perspective, Reed's duet signaled a major crossover, from dominating on the court to commanding a fashion stage. Her presence challenges old assumptions about where athletes belong and what roles they can play. She showed up in full athlete mode, training with a runway coach, studying like all the greats, Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell, and then walked with the wings with confidence. She stood out to me. When you see Angel Reese walk into a traditionally exclusive place, lingerie modeling, which has had a narrow view of who belongs, and then to see the show actively open itself up with pregnant models, plus size models, trans models, models of color, that is so meaningful. It's not just a flashy moment. It's a part of a shifting narrative about representation and who gets to shine. With Angel Reese crossing over into high fashion, what does this blur of sports and modeling say about how we view professional athletes? Does this kind of visibility help break stereotypes, or does it just add pressure on the athletes to diversify beyond their core sport?
What I really want to focus on in this topic is inclusion in the modeling industry, especially right now. For so many years, so many people in the modeling world have been overlooked, whether it's because of race, skin tone, body type, or even just not fitting the quote unquote standard that people in the industry used to push. But I'm happy to see that's changing. I've been seeing it more and more in today's modeling world. The wave of diversity, where different shapes, shades, and backgrounds are finally being represented. It reminds me of something we actually talked about in the bubble chat before, where in that episode of the Proud Family reboot, where Penny and her friends created their own beauty pageant that welcomed all shapes and sizes. That episode hit deep because it reflected what real inclusion should look like, especially having a space to shine without being compared to an unrealistic standard. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Very much so true. How do you feel, Jasmine? Did you see the show?
I've seen clips on the Shade Room, and Angel Reese looked beautiful. I just want to highlight how I'm not surprised that Angel Reese was up there. She's a gorgeous girl. She's always been about the fact that although she's doing the thing,
she's a feminine female athlete.
That, and although she's doing the thing of her dreams, which is being an athlete, it doesn't pay the bills. She was like, no, my Fashion Nova stuff pays the bills. Like, she was saying all the things like, hey, what pays the bills? That career choice and what her passion is doesn't pay the bills. So I like how she dives into other avenues. But I will say that I never really understood like how there was even a barrier with models and sports, because I remember Tyra Banks being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I thought Sports Illustrated was for people who play sports. And so,
because she did the first crossover. She did the first crossover from a model covering on an athletic magazine. So the same thing. Okay. They both did the same thing from runway to cover page.
Runway to cover page.
Runway to cover page. So Tyra Banks made history crossing over on cover page, a modeling book to a sports. Oh, wow. And then Angel went from actually a sports arena court to a live runway. They did the same thing. One did it on print, one did it in physical.
Mm-hmm. But Angel started off in sports, so she could be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Whereas Tyra Banks,
but that's her arena already, though. That's her arena.
Yeah.
Tyra Banks, it was like, did you get Vogue? Did you get Elle? Did you do Cosmopolitan?
Right.
Because Ebony and Essence and Jet are going to be your already go-tos, right? What I love Victoria's Secret. There is nothing better.
Who else crossed over?
Nothing more should make a man happy than to see a woman's body being accentuated by like red satin and black lace. I mean, that shit is just amazing. It doesn't matter if you got boobies, if you don't, hips or no, stomach flat, not so flat. What happens is the way those garments are put together to the body of the woman, it is just chef's kiss twice. And so from Christy Brinkley to Tyra Banks to, all...
You know who else crossed over? Serena Williams. She's a crossover too.
Yes, all the angels. So there is the Bombshell, there is Very Sexy, and there is the other one, but it was like, I know it's Candace and Ariana, and I forgot the other one's name, but...
You better know them angels.
I know all of them. I really fucks with Victoria's Secret, like the way that they walk in them shoes and be having on all them goddamn wings and them head pieces be heavy and shit. You got the balance and work and walk and straight. That shit is angelic. That's
top tier for sure.
Yes. So Missy Elliott performed. There was and I loved how everyone that performed walked the runway. So even though they were singing, well, not Missy Elliott because she closed the show, but the other two performers that I saw, the girls, the angels are walking, they're singing, high-fiving, touching, propping each other up. But then at the very, very end, there was something that the entertainer did not have on, whether it was a pair of wings or they changed their shoes, and then they walked down the runway their own selves. All those hues of skin, all those shapes, all the heights. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I love Victoria's Secret. I can't wait to sit on the fucking floor of the Victoria's Secret fashion show and yes, because I love it. I love it. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, Jasmine had to go. Today was a school night.
Okay. Come on, Nikki. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, gals and goblins, we're going to creep our way into a quick break, but don't go too far because the chills and the thrills of our Disney Halloween special, as you can hear in my background, are just getting started with the fire truck. Grab your candy, refill your buckets, and maybe check under your bed just in case. Some of y'all might got some gobs and goblins up under your bed. You never know what could be lurking this time of year. We'll be back before the clock strikes midnight. Don't want nobody to lose their glass slipper. With one more spooky story, fun discussions, and maybe a little Disney magic with a haunted twist. So don't vanish into the night just yet. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this eerie little break. And we're back from our spooky little break. Hope you grabbed a treat or maybe even played a little Monster Mash while you waited. The haunted vibes are still going strong over here and our Disney Halloween special. Now it's time to rise from the grave of nostalgia and move into one of our favorite segments, my favorite throwback topic. This is where we take a trip down memory lane, and tonight we're keeping it all in the theme with some eerie Disney throwbacks that still give us the chills to this day. Whether it's ghostly moments from the Haunted Mansion, the mischief of Hocus Pocus, or the iconic villains that made our childhoods deliciously spooky, we're taking it all in. We're talking all about it in the bubble chat. So light your jack-o'-lanterns, cure that creepy background music, and let's dive into our throwback topic.
Alrighty. When we think about Halloween, one of the first things that comes to mind is trick or treating. It's that one annual tradition that never gets old. Dressing up, running door to door with your friends, and seeing who can fill their bucket the fastest. And I'm talking about with candy. Because I'll be honest, I loved trick or treating as a kid. I had a mean sweet tooth back then, and honestly, I still do. Now, of course, we all know the golden rule. Always have your parents check your candy before you eat it. That's just basic Halloween safety. But just years ago, I came across this interesting story that took things a step further. It was actually featured on an episode of a now canceled talk show, The Real Daytime, during one of their Halloween specials, where Tamara, Jeannie, Lonnie, and Adrian, shout out to them, by the way, including Amanda Seals and Garcelle Beauvais, they were discussing this one mom on how she handled her son's allergies during Halloween. So apparently, her son has multiple food allergies. From what I can tell, it was peanuts, gluten, and dairy, and she felt like he was being left out of the fun. But instead of finding alternative ways for him to enjoy Halloween, she decided to post flyers all over her town, demanding that neighbors avoid giving out any candy with peanuts, gluten, or dairy. And get this, she even provided a list of acceptable treats, things like carrot sticks, Smarties, nickel wafers, and Raisinets. Just not Raisinets. I get I get that she's looking out for her children's health, but that's definitely an interesting way to go about it. But what do you think about this? Do you feel like this mom was just being a protective parent, or did she take it a little too far by telling her neighbors what they could and couldn't hand out for Halloween? What do you guys thought?
Well, I, for one, believe that I can afford. It's not about my heart. It's about my wallet. And I'll tell you this. I could buy a bag of candy for about $9.99 and feed all the kids in one night. Baby, I can't get 3 beets. Don't let them be organic. It'd be more expensive to try and feed these kids something nice. Now, I could afford to give them a little sugar rush. I cannot afford to keep them healthy nor alive. I'm so sorry.
You know, Going to this story, I honestly think that's doing a little too much. I completely understand where the mom's coming from. She's trying to protect her child, which is any parent's natural instinct. But at the same time, just because her son has allergies doesn't mean the whole neighborhood should have to adjust to that. Halloween is supposed to be fun for everyone, and part of that excitement is that surprise of not knowing what kind of candy you're going to get. Now, don't get me wrong, I do know she's concerned, and I get it. Anaphylactic shocks are very serious and they can be life threatening. So her fear isn't misplaced at all. But I think the approach could have been handled in a more understanding way. Something that includes her son without taking away from everyone else's fun. Like if I were in her shoes, what I would have done is go to each house in the neighborhood ahead of time and give the neighbors a little Ziploc bag filled with safe treats, one that doesn't have peanuts, gluten, or dairy, or whatever he's allergic to. That way, when a child comes trick or treating and knocking on the door, the neighbors already know to give those snacks instead of the regular candy. That's a thoughtful and respectful way to make sure her child feels included and safe. It's a simple compromise and the kids still get to enjoy the fun of Halloween, and that the neighbors don't feel like they're being told what they can or can't hand out. Plus, it teaches everyone in the community a little more empathy and awareness, which is really the spirit of these holidays is all about. But how do you feel about it, Nikki? Just in case you missed out, we were talking about this one Halloween trick or treating incident where her mother has allergies, and he was basically placing the posters all over the place, asking people not to give out any candy that involves nuts, gluten, dairy, and to hand out some healthy snacks like carrot sticks.
Well, I think the connotation behind it, is they meant well, But maybe just like the way they went about it, and you can't just, put that on everybody, because when people go trick-or-treating, they really expect to get a treat, and they typically expect to get a sweet treat. They're not looking for no carrot sticks and no celery or none of that. However, we can change the trajectory of the way in which we trick-or-treat, because treats can be healthy as well, and so having the options, I think, is what's I think that's the best thing, is just having an option. So, we have the option of the various different type of candy. Some of them may have nuts in it. You don't have to consume it. If you're allergic, you don't get that treat. And then if some people want to have those healthy treats available, then you can grab that if you want to. However, when we think about sanitation and things of that nature, how are you going to be providing some carrot sticks? You're going to have bags of carrot sticks? I mean, what? Because the candy is already wrapped. And when we teach kids to go trick-or-treating, we tell them, make sure it's sealed and it's packaged up. So how you going to provide the celery sticks or the healthy snacks? Is it going to be sealed up, packaged up, or what? So that's just something to consider. But options is always provides choice. So that's what I'll say.
All right. It is what it is. God damn it. It is what it is.
And that is going to wrap us up, y'all. Our spooky Disney Halloween special of the Bubble Chat. We have laughed, we have rescinded, reminisced, and we've even gotten a few chills along the way. But that's what Halloween is all about, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of magic, a little bit of mysteriousness, a little spookiness, and a whole lot of fun. So, whether you're heading out to trick or treat, or staying in for a scary movie marathon, or just, raiding the candy bowl yourself, we hope you have a safe and spellbinding night. It's always fun, too, to just provide the trick-or-treating candy for all the trick-or-treaters. Don't forget to keep that Halloween spirit alive, not just tonight, but all season long. Because here at the Bubble Chat, every day is a good day to celebrate a little fun and imagination. Yes, imagination can take you a long ways. Until next time, stay spooky, stay kind, and of course, stay safe. As always, keep it chatting. All right, bubblers, we out. Peace, love, liberation, and prosperity.